Hey YouTube, Nickel and Diamond It here. We're going to introduce a new segment today, so we're going to do an upgrade on the existing computer tower so that I can start prepping for some kind of more graphically intensive computational fluid dynamic work. So what we're going to go over today is part of the install process so that you can upgrade a graphics card when you have an existing card. And I'll walk through some of the basic steps of this process so that hopefully you'll be able to tackle a job like this by yourself and feel confident that you can succeed without, blowing stuff up or cool things like that. You also want to upgrade uninstall the old drivers for your graphics card, and it'll give you all kinds of messages and fun things. You just tell it, do it anyway, do what I say. Don't talk back to me, you're a computer. You're here to serve me. It's highly recommended that you upgrade the BIOS, which is the basic input-output system of your motherboard. One of the many reasons I can't recommend enough going with something like an ASUS board, motherboard that is, when you're building a computer for custom specifications, is the fact that they have a lot of helpful utilities to make it easier on the user to actually keep everything up to date. So here I'm using their handy-dandy utility, and I'm either going to update this from the internet or update it from some of the files I've already downloaded. So we'll see how the utility works. But having these tools makes it really helpful instead of having to always run up and down between the BIOS and whatever your current operating system is. If you have to bounce back and forth between those to update from flash drives, it can be a lengthy process. So being able to use utilities like this that you can download from the company's website is exceedingly helpful. Since I've been pretty busy using my laptop on a lot of other stuff I've been doing, I haven't really done a fantastic job of keeping up with some of the updates for this. Since I built it, I built this system, I guess, coming up on 2 years ago, but not quite. So here what you're seeing is the reflashing of the BIOS, which is kind of not very entertaining, but it's a necessary step. So there have been, I guess, 2 updates to the BIOS since I did the system build. I think actually one of them was out when I did the system build, but I didn't download this utility at the time to help do this. So I'm going to update the BIOS in 2 steps just to keep the shock to the computer minimal and increase my probability of success. That setup was successful, so here we are going with the next version, which is the 1605. So this was about a month later they released this one. So this is all supposed to help system stability, and who doesn't like better system stability? Also, this should make sure that all of my support for graphics cards and whatever else is completely up to date in BIOS, and it makes it easier for me to set up the card. I don't think there will be any complications. I'm using the AMD FX 4100 processor, so it's quad-core. It's still considered a high-end here in the early part of 2014, but it's not as fast as some of the 8-core processors. It's also not as fast as some of the higher-end Intel processors. It was the budget processor for this AM3 Plus socket on the motherboard. That one's a pretty good socket because I knew that would be a motherboard that I could upgrade later. I'm currently running 16 gig RAM in the system. I'm about to be running this GTX 750 card from Nvidia, and it's put together by the parent company, Nvidia. They do pretty good stuff from what I understand. And more importantly, this is a video card that performs kind of in the upper tiers currently. But this card I'm getting for $100 instead of, I think the launch price for these was expected to be like $150 or something like that. It's not a brand new one, it's not the highest end 750 even. It's not the TI or anything like that, the fancy editions. It's just got the 1 gig DDR5 RAM, so it's a little faster. 1600 and some megahertz, I think, is the rate on that memory, so it'll be pretty quick. And specs wise, it's supposed to be able to perform not quite 20 times better, but probably about 18 times better in terms of 3D Mark benchmarking compared to my current card, which is an ATI Radeon 5450, that is. So I'm making a pretty significant step up. I think that one has like 80 stream processors. This new card will have, I believe it's 512 of their CUDA cores, which are kind of neat. And it's running on their Maxwell architecture, so it's going to be a little bit better on power. And I don't have to update my power supply to do this, which is another reason why it's pretty cool. So now that the BIOS is updated, I'll have to do another restart and make sure everything is fully up to date before actually changing out the card. Here's a peek inside the case. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be pulling the video card, which is this guy, out of the PCI Express slot, and we're going to be putting the new one back in. We're going to have to punch out one of the tabs, I think either on top or on bottom. So I may end up having to put it down in the lower slot if I don't have the clearance up above. I'll have to see kind of how it mounts and then update. So here we have the old video card, the Radeon 5450, next to the new video card, which is the EVGA GT GeForce GTX 750. So the biggest difference is you have a very large cooling fan, a much larger heat sink. You have, let's see if we can get any light on that. There we go. You have all of these ports, and you have a large vent port above. So this will sit actually below the level. So I'll have to pull out this guy because the vent will go down below the video card. This is going to make a little bit more noise, but it's also going to significantly increase performance, and side by side the comparison is quite interesting because this video card is very large in size. There we have the new video card at home in its slot. It fit up nicely, kind of almost like it was designed to. Sound card is now installed. Have some cute little outputs at the back there. You can see the new video card set up. Pretty straightforward stuff, as long as you forget to wear your woolly socks and don't pet the fuzzy cat while you're doing this, and make sure to frequently ground yourself to the case itself, making sure you're not going to discharge your static electricity into whatever your component is. You won't scrap a $300 component or whatever it is in a hurry, so should be pretty safe. Now we'll go to the BIOS setup. Everything's all set up in the BIOS. That was fairly easy. I didn't have to do anything, as a matter of fact. This is a new enough motherboard and total hardware combo that it's setting up pretty quickly, and I'm letting the Nvidia stuff update through their GeForce Experience utility. So I'll deal with the network and whatever other issues are going on and ensure the update can be finalized, and then we'll try and see what the new performance of the system is going to be like. Now my Windows Experience scores, even though they don't mean a ton, are significantly higher. So the memory, RAM, and primary hard disk operations, as well as processor, are the same, because obviously those haven't changed. but the deal for evaluating frame rate in graphics for Aero and 3D stuff is all significantly higher now. So I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to test it.